Good afternoon and welcome to Take Your Life Back with Ralf Friedrichs. Today we're going to talk about a subject due to the fact that I had not an interesting but a little upsetting conversation with a person that is in the business, and I have noticed that this person was actually writing things that I just didn't agree on. So I approached this person and I thought maybe our opinions could be exchanged, but this particular person took it very personal, saying that I was judging her, and the contents of the opinion that I was trying to show her is that she is sober for a lot of years, and I congratulate her, and she's a strict AA person, and that is great. Uh, she made a remark that once a person reaches a step 9 in the big book, uh, then if they have a relapse, it's a choice that they made, and I just do not believe it. And that's why I chose this topic today: warning signs of alcohol and drug relapse. I don't think personally that a person makes a choice during a relapse, because why would somebody for 2 years be sober and then just decide, okay, I'm choosing to relapse? It is just not feasible. It doesn't make sense. I know people that are sober for 20 years due to a certain situation, such as financial crisis, such as death in the family, death of a loved one, loss of a job, that they relapsed. They did not choose to relapse. They relapsed because that's what happened. So I approached this person, and this person took it very personal. And I said, can't we agree to disagree on this subject? The difference between myself and this particular person is that this particular person is a counselor and a therapist. And as I always say to everyone during my shows, is that I am an addiction recovery coach. I am here to motivate, to look in the positive. A counselor and a therapist is a person that will talk about the past. Case in point here is that if somebody has a relapse, my point is that when they're down already, let's not kick them while they're down. If there was a relapse, like I always say, is you pick yourself up and you continue. My point again is that I don't think there's any person that purposely, whether big book or not, whether step 1 or step 12, purposely chooses to relapse. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Your opinion counts. Text me at 631-599-0218. Tell me what you think about that. I explained to this person that I have a bigger book than the big book, and that is the Bible. And the Bible does state to forgive, not to judge. The big book is very structured. It is very repetitively same stuff over and over again. Again, note, I am not criticizing AA. I am merely stating opinion. This particular person took my opinion, turned it around, and called it a judgment on my part. I apologize to this person for upsetting this person. This person obviously did not accept that apology, which tells me one thing: that this particular person has a very narrow mind, because it is such a broad subject that we all are entitled to and certainly able to input what we believe. So again, let me know at 631-599-0218. Tell me if you truly believe that a person, whether they reach step 9, 10, 11, or 12 in AA, chooses to relapse. This person goes and says, you know what, today I reach step 9 and I'm going to relapse. I don't think it's a choice. I think it's a situation, a trigger, a stressor that makes the person relapse. But enough with that. Today's topic is warning signs of alcohol and drug relapse, but today's also show 7 of my 31 shows, or from Joel Osteen, 31 Promises to Declare Over Your Lifetime. And I had made a commitment to you folks and to myself that I would do 31 promises for the next 31 shows. Today is show 7 since I made that promise. And show 7 reads as follows: I declare that God has a great plan for my life. He has directed my steps, and even though I may not always understand how, I know my situation is not a surprise to God. He will work out every detail to my advantage. In His perfect timing, everything will turn out all right. This is my declaration for show 7. And I'm going to read it once more, and I'm going to read it a little clearer and slower. I declare that God has a great plan in my life. He has directed my steps. And even though I may not always understand, I know my situation is not a surprise to God. He will work out every detail to my advantage. In His perfect timing, everything will turn out right. This is my declaration. I want to give a shout out also to Dr. Luis Gonzalez over at Starting Point, 844-414-8444. You can find him on Google, Yahoo, any of those search engines at www.startingpointmn.com. That's startingpointmn.com. The MN stands for Minnesota. He has two sides to his business. The one side is like mine. We are both addiction recovery coaches. We, as addiction recovery coaches, work on today, 24 hours, and tomorrow. We will never, ever talk about the past. We will not address past issues. We will motivate, lift the answers that you already have inside, lift them to the surface so you can continue on your journey in addiction recovery. On the other side of his business, he can turn you to what he did for me. He turned me, with his educational program, into an addiction recovery coach. If you have the professionalism, personality, and passion, and you have some sort of addiction background, whether it's your own or battling with someone else, call him 844-414-8444. Also, my websites. The one is called clearviews.info. That's CLEARVIEWS.info. Clearviews.info is basically the 411, the information on addiction and recovery. Doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists have written articles and little snippets here and there. They are on my website for you to learn, for you to read, for you to use. I have over 212 videotapes there for your visual and learning experiences for you to see. My videos are every single day except for Thursdays and Sundays. On Thursdays, I have Throwback Thursday, and Sunday, I call it the Lift Me Up Family Spiritual Day. That is one of my websites. My other one is like Dr. Luis Gonzalez, where I will coach, be your addiction recovery coach. I, like Dr. Luis Gonzalez from Starting Point, will walk with you today into tomorrow. I will not ever talk about the past. That is what we do. You notice both my websites, clearviews.info and clearreform.com, start with the word clear. The CLEAR stands for Community Lessons Empower Addiction Recovery. That's what CLEAR stands for in clearviews.info and Clear Reform. It is our community, whether it's our video community, our local community, or our global community, is our lessons that empower addiction recovery. It's all of us together that will empower addiction recovery. I chose this subject due to that sensitive little situation I ran into with someone. And, I do have to say this, that when you're doing private messaging on Facebook, sometimes what you write is not exactly what you mean. And but I don't think I misread what she was writing. She pretty much made it quite clear she didn't want to communicate with me anymore. And it's a shame, because I was just merely voicing my opinion. And I truly believe that people don't relapse on a choice, at least not the majority of people. I doubt every relapse. Her point is because they've reached step 9, step 10, step 11, step 12 in AA. Folks, it doesn't matter, especially if they've reached 9, 10, and 11, and 12. I don't think they chose it. I think something triggered it. Recognizing the steps leading to relapse. Relapse is so common in alcohol and drug recovery process that it is estimated more than 90% of those trying to remain abstinent have at least one relapse before they achieve long-lasting sobriety. I had 6 or 7 relapses. Did I choose them? I don't think I did. I think my body, my addiction is the one that chose it for me. I subconsciously did not say I want to continue drinking. But a relapse, sometimes called a slip, doesn't begin when you pick up a drink or a drug. It is a slow process that begins long before you actually use. The steps to relapse are actually changes in attitudes, feelings, behaviors, and gradually lead to final steps, picking up a drink or a drug. attitudes, feelings, and behaviors. In 1982, researchers Terence T. Gorski and Marlene Miller identified a set of warning signs or steps that typically lead up to a relapse. If you are trying to obtain long-term sobriety and are avoiding having relapse along the way, it is important to recognize the following warning signs and take actions to keep them from progressing into a full-blown relapse. 11 steps is what they came up with. 11 steps to a relapse. The first step is titled Change in Attitude. For some reason, you decide that participating in your recovery program is just not as important as it was. You may begin to return to what some call stinking thinking or unhealthy or addictive thinking. Basically, you are not working your program as you did previously. You feel something is wrong but can't identify exactly what it is. That is one sign. Elevated stress. That is my point. Doesn't matter if you reach step 9, 10, 11, or 12. I think if you, hypothetically, you lose your wife or your husband, I don't think you say, well, I'm going to drink because of that. I think it's the situation that causes the relapse. It's not the choice that causes the relapse. An increase in stress in your life can be due to a major change in circumstances or just little things building up. Returning to a real world after a stint in residential treatment can present many stressful situations. The dangers is if you become overreacted to those situations. Be careful if you begin to have mood swings, aggravated, positive or negative feelings. That was number 2. Number 3, reactivation of denial. Whew, that's a big one. This is not denial that you have a drug or alcohol problem. It's denial that the stress is getting to you. So you're denying the fact that you don't think that the stress is, that you can overcome the stress. You try to convince yourself that everything's going to be okay, and everything is okay, you say to yourself. You may be scared or worried, but you dismiss those feelings and you stop sharing those feelings with others. This is dangerous because the denial is very similar to denying that you had a drug and alcohol addiction in the first place. Number 4, reoccurrence of post-acute withdrawal symptoms. Anxiety, depression, sleepiness, and memory loss can continue long after you quit drinking or doing drugs, known as post-acute withdrawal symptoms. These symptoms can return during times of stress. They are dangerous because you may be tempted to self-medicate them with alcohol and drugs. You can have behavioral changes. That is a sign. You may begin to change the daily routine that you developed in early sobriety that helped you replace your compulsive behaviors with healthy alternatives. Example would be if I stopped doing these videos. Example would be if I stopped doing live interviews. Example would be if I stopped working on my websites. These are activities that I do daily to keep sober. It's to help you, to help me. You might begin to practice avoidance or become defensive in situations that call for an honest opinion of your behavior. You could begin using poor judgment and causing yourself problems due to impulsive behavior without thinking things through. Social breakdown. You may begin feeling uncomfortable around others, making excuses not to socialize. You stop hanging around with sober friends, or you withdraw from your family members. You stop going to your support group meetings, or you cut away back on the number of meetings you attend. You begin to isolate yourself. Loss of structure. You begin to completely abandon the daily routine or the schedule that you have developed early in your sobriety. You may begin sleeping late, or ignoring personal hygiene, or skipping meals. You stop making constructive plans, and when the plans you do make don't work out, you overreact. You begin focusing on one small part of your life to the exclusion of everything else around you. You might have loss of judgment. You begin to have trouble making decisions or make unhealthy decisions. It may be hard to think clearly, and you become confused easily. You may feel overwhelmed for no apparent reason, or not being able to relax. You may become annoyed or angry easily. You could possibly lose control. You make irrational choices and are unable to interrupt or alter those choices. You begin to actively cut off people who can help you. You begin to think that you can return to social drinking and recreational drug use and you can control it. You can't start. You really can't. That is a choice if you start doing it. A relapse is a mistake. You get up and you continue into sobriety. If you think truly that you can socially drink and socially do drugs, that is a choice. See the difference? One's a mistake, a corrected mistake. The other one is a choice to continue drinking socially. You may begin to believe that there is no hope. You lose confidence in your ability to manage your own life. You might run out of loss of options. You begin to limit your options. You stop attending all meetings with counselors and your support groups and discontinue any pharma therapy treatments. You may feel loneliness, frustration, anger, resentment, and tension. You might feel helpless and desperate. You come to believe that there are 3 ways out: insanity, suicide, self-destruction, self-medication with alcohol and drugs. Relapse. You attempt controlled social or short-term alcohol drug use, but you are disappointed at the results and immediately experience shame and guilt. You quickly lose control and your alcohol and drug use spirals further out of control. This causes you increased problems with relationships, jobs, money, mental, physical health. You need getting help You need getting help to get sober again. Folks, relapse is preventable. Relapse following treatment for drug and alcohol addiction is common and predictable, but it is also preventable. Knowing the warning signs and steps that lead up to relapse can help you make healthy choices and take alternative action. If a relapse does happen, it is not the end of the world. If it happens, it is important that you get up, dust yourself off, and get back to the path of recovery. A relapse is an error. A relapse is it's due to something that triggered it. Not to beat this drum, but a relapse is not a choice. The choice would be if you think that you can drink socially and do drugs socially. That is a choice. A relapse because maybe your husband or your wife died, your mother or your dad died, you lost your job, you had a relapse, and the next day you dust yourself up, you dust your knees up, and you continue further in your sobriety. That was not a choice, that was an error. I am so uncomfortable with the thought that someone that I mentioned this to would take it so personal. I'm very uncomfortable with that thought. It makes me even more uncomfortable thinking that this person is a counselor. A very defensive, a way to debate this is how this person did it with me. Pretty much just shutting me down, saying I'm totally wrong, saying to me that she needed to go to her sponsor and talk about this. Folks, I don't care if you're at step 9, 10, 11, or 12. More so, I don't think it's a choice then, because you have so much to gain. You have so many years under your belt. I do not agree with the remark that at step 9, 10, 11, or 12, that if you relapse, it's because you chose to relapse. I do not agree with it. I personally believe that a relapse is an error and you get up and you move. What I do believe, and I will say this, is if you choose to drink socially and do drugs socially because you don't feel that you have a problem anymore, that is a choice. That is an action plan you put in front of you, and that is a choice. I encourage each and every one to text me at 631-599-0218 or PM me, private message me on Facebook. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I did apologize because I saw how she took offense to this, how she called it a judgment call when I called it my opinion. If that is why people are afraid to even counteract or give your opinion about a certain subject, this is why we can't discuss things in that nature, because when a person like myself just says, I don't think when somebody's down that you kick them while they're down, and I don't think that it's a choice that a person on the other end should go off like this. And I want you to be honest with your opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I admit it if I am wrong, but I truly don't believe I'm wrong. I don't think there's a right or a wrong. I think it's two different opinions with two different people. But I don't think that one person should shut the other person down because of it. And I don't think I should be accused of judging somebody because I gave my opinion. That's the bottom line of this. Warning signs of alcohol and drug relapse. You need to worry about attitudes, feelings, and behaviors. If you start seeing it in yourself or in loved ones or people around you, attitudes, feelings, and behavioral changes are signs. If you see that change in the attitude, it's a sign. If you notice that you have elevated stress within you or around you, or maybe people that you know are going through sobriety, that you know are soldiers in the fight of addiction war, if they have elevated stress, worry for them, worry for yourself. If they start denying, not that they had a drug and alcohol addiction, but if they start denying that drug and alcohol is a problem in their life now, that's a sign. Folks, no matter how I sit here in front of you and do this show daily, no matter how long I've been sober, I will never deny I have an alcohol problem, because I do. I certainly do have an alcohol problem. But I've learned to live with it. And it's these videos, and it's my interviews, and anything else that I have created that keeps me going. It's to help you to help me. If there's behavior changes in you, or in your friends or your loved ones, that is a sign of relapse. If there's social breakdown, if you feel uncomfortable around others and you make excuses to be around them, that might be a sign of closet drinking again. Take it from me, I used to be one. I thought I had them all fooled, but I didn't. Loss of structure is another sign. You totally abandon your daily routine. If suddenly you folks didn't see my videos anymore daily, you didn't read my posts, you didn't see a fresh updated information on my websites, you would probably say something is not right. And I'm telling you, that is a sign. Loss of judgment. You begin to have trouble making decisions, or to make unhealthy decisions. That is a sign. Loss of control. You make irrational choices and are unable to interrupt or alter those choices. Loss of options. You begin to limit your options. You stop attending all meetings with counselors and your support groups and discontinue any therapy. And then finally, the big R, relapse. You attempt controlled social or short-term alcohol and drug use, but you are disappointed at the results and you start feeling ashamed. You quickly lose control and your alcohol and drug use spirals further out of control. This causes you increasing problems with relationships, jobs, money, mental and physical health. Relapse is preventable. Relapse following treatment for drug and alcohol addiction is common and predictable, but yet also preventable. Knowing the warning signs and the steps that lead up to relapse can help make you make healthier choices and take alternative action. If a relapse happens, and I always say this, you dust your knees, you pull yourself up, stand straight up, and you continue in your quest of sobriety. If you were sober for a year or 20 years and you had a relapse, remember this on a positive note. All that time that you had sobriety until you relapse, that is all time you brought back into your life by not poisoning your body and not losing people around you. So if you've been sober for a year and you had a relapse for one day and you become sober again, you gained a year of sobriety. You gained a year. The same goes with 20 years or whatever your case might be. Congratulate yourself. Don't beat yourself up. It is not the end of the world. Continue in sobriety. What would be the end of the world is if you have the relapse, and at that point, after the relapse, you choose to continue drinking socially and doing drugs socially. That's a choice. That might be the end of your world eventually. It all starts today, November 14th, 2014. Let today be the first day for the best rest of your life. Let it start today. If you had any one of these signs, be aware, be cautious, reach out to people like myself. You can call me at 844-405-HELP. Reach out to people like Dr. Luis Gonzalez at 844-414-8444. Reach out to your treatment centers. Reach out to your AA. But reach out. If you're ready to stop drinking or stop doing drugs, do one of these two. Do both of these two things. The first thing is to stop denying. The minute you stop denying is the minute you start repairing. And reach out to God, because you do need His guidance and direction. And I'm going to read this show 7 again. This comes from Joel Osteen, 31 Promises to Make Through Your Lifetime. With me, it's 31 shows. And this is show 7 since I decided to do this. Now listen to what I have to say about this. I declare that God has a great plan for my life. Let that plan be part of sobriety. He is directing my steps, every single step. And even though I may not always understand how, I know my situation is not a surprise to God. He will work out every detail to my advantage. In His perfect timing, everything will turn out all right. And this is my declaration. Folks, I've told you this story once before. 1981, I went in the Marine Corps. Never ever thinking what would come about me in 2013. Never ever thinking I would ever become an addiction recovery coach. But the sign was there in 1981. I did not see it. In 1981, while in boot camp in the Marine Corps, I was asked to become a lay reader. What a lay reader is someone that is a mediator, like an addiction recovery coach, between the recruits and the chaplain. The chaplain asked me to do this because he noticed that I possessed the gift of helping others and listening and caring. This was in 1981. God, from 1981, knew already what my path would be here, today, November 14, 2014. He knew that eventually, with His own timing, like my declaration today said, that I would actually continue doing what I started in 1981. What He wanted me to do is to experience life as I directed it myself, to show me that without His guidance and direction that I spiraled my own life out of control, but He saved me each and every time before the end could have been for me. He saved me in 1983, Beirut bombing. He saved me 2009, accident in Alaska. He saved me at least 2-3 times of an overdose. And then in 2013, when I knew my life, when I hit rock bottom, I knew my life is totally destructible, totally falling apart. When I reached up and I said, I've had it with my alcoholism and I need help, God. It is then that God pulled me up, took the shield that was around me, protecting me for all those years, for all those certain death situations I could have been, and said, now your work begins. Although I've been in optometry for over 30 years, which is a paying full-time job, I truly, truly not only enjoy doing this, I don't get paid for doing this. The only payment I get is the payment of educating myself daily and helping you. The only payment I know I will get is when I stand in front of God one day, is that God's going to remind me how I was always a person that would help other people. That in itself is payment worth more than any money my optometry background can give me. Ask God for guidance and direction, and He will help you. Folks, I use this analogy a lot. Tonight when you go to bed, all of us always wear slipper shoes or sneakers, and we take them off and we put them by the edge of our bed on the floor. Tonight I want you all to please push them underneath your bed. That way tomorrow morning, when you wake up, first of all, thank God you woke up, you will go on your knees to pull those sneaker shoes or slippers from underneath your bed. And while you're on your knees, listen very carefully. Ask God for guidance and direction for the present day, but more importantly, thank God that you have another day on this beautiful earth. For every breath you take, folks, there is someone within your community, within the global community, taking their last breath. With every blink, eye open, close, you have somebody's closing their eyes the last time. You, sitting here watching my video today, November 14, 2014, still have an opportunity for change. Whoever just took their last breath, blinked their eyes for the last time, maybe did not have that opportunity to change. My show is seen nationally and globally somewhat. I wish my show could be seen in parts of Africa, South America, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, so people could see that there is hope beyond all the terrible things this world has, or beyond all the wars, the starvation, the diseases, that there is hope. And that hope is a 3-letter word. That hope is called God. And if you include that 3-letter word, God, in your daily life, you will see changes like you would never have seen before. Maybe not immediately, but you'll see physical changes. You will see spiritual changes, financial changes. You will see that in combination with giving up on your drugs and alcohol and including God in your action plan and for guidance and direction, your life will become complete and balanced the way God created you many, many years ago. We're all born and we'll all die one day. In between there, every year is a chapter in your book. I'm up to chapter 53. What chapter are you to? I will be honest, and I will tell you straight up that no matter how good I was in 1981 and caring and all that, all my chapters from 0 to chapter 51, were all not terrible, but less desirable. They included things like drugs, alcohol, cheating, dishonesty, nastiness. They included all that. But that's the wonderful thing about God. He forgives you. He forgives you, and He gives you a chance to have a fresh start. While you're still alive and you have that chance, it's up to you to make that decision. My slogan for my shows is let me help take your life back. That's based on the fact that I can help you with your addiction and recovery. That's all my show is based on. But God can actually give your life back. No matter how dark and deep troubled you are, with the sunshine of God and your acceptance of Jesus Christ, He will give your life back. My slogan is just about addiction and recovery. His is about being the creator of you. He already knows each and every step you are going to make today and tomorrow and next week and next month. He already knows when your end of time is. We don't know when it is. But why take that chance every single day and wait for a chance to change? Why not change today? Go to AA, see how you like that, start utilizing their steps, try my methods, go to treatment centers. But all of them have to have two things, two goals: sobriety and God. Those two factors have to be in the scenario, in the equation of a new you. No matter what you do, don't ever think, if you have an addiction, that you'll be fixed. The only fixing is continuous education, continuously helping others. Surround yourself with a new crowd, a sober crowd, and surround yourself with people that have addiction issues and are learning to live with it. Like a chameleon, blend into that society, into that social gathering. Yesterday's video was about what not to say to someone that's sober. Do not let the naysayers out there bring you down. Say things to you like, do you think you're better than us? Things like, I will make you drink. Things like, what did you find Jesus? Do not let that negative feedback take you into a dark place again. But on the other hand, let the sunshine in to your heart and your home, and you will notice nothing but positive results. Eliminate any negative thoughts. And how do you do that? It's by getting a positive situation, a positive higher being into your heart and into your home. When God comes into your heart and into your home, you will see changes. That I guarantee you. But it all starts with you, and it all starts today. I have not given a shout out in a very long time. I want to give a shout out to my friend way up north. I hope you're doing fine. It's been quite some time since you and I chatted, whether it be by text or by emails. I hope you're doing fine. I realize it's football season, and from my personal past, during hockey season, the drinking became excessive. I know you said you've been sober. I hope you still are, especially during the trying time of football season. So also to my friend up in New Hampshire, I hope you're doing fine. I keep track of you on Facebook, and I know you're running into some situation with some family issues, but I hope you're doing fine. And either one, New Hampshire or way up north, reach out to me anytime. I'm always here, and I am truly your friend. To all my other contacts from all over the country and the world, I want to, before I forget, just wish every single one of you a happy Thanksgiving, although it's 2 weeks early, in case I get so involved into my own videotape. Sometimes I do forget things, and it just came to my mind now. So I just want to wish each and every one a happy Thanksgiving. Folks, it is never ever too early to start new, but there is a chance that it might be too late tomorrow. Too late for you, too late for me. I sit here humbly before you, and I beg each and every one to contemplate the fact that if you have a drinking or a drug problem, to contemplate to reach out to your higher power for help. Reach out to your higher power and you'll see differences. And if that's too far for you to reach right now, reach out to me. I will help take your life back, but it starts with a phone call, 844-405-HELP. It starts with a text, 631-599-0218. It starts with an email at clearreform@yahoo.com. And it starts with you. It starts with you. Let today be the first day of your new life, and let today be the day that I help take your life back. Remember, a sober today makes for a better tomorrow. And if you believe what I tell you in here, it will become clear out there. Let the sunshine in to your heart and into your home, and reap nothing but positive results. Eliminate the naysayers and the negative people around you, because they will only give you negative results. And I say this all the time, but may God bless you each and every day. But more importantly, have a sober day. God bless you.